Morning everyone. Very hot day, the hottest on record, so we won't want to be here too long. We'll see how things go. It's good to see people getting accommodated for the weather. With no apologies for our absence. Can we agree the minutes? Announcements, and there are no urgent items. But could I just say that item 10 and 11 have got two papers attached. So if we want a full discussion, we'll have to ask members of the public and press to leave the meeting. But if we're just talking in general terms, then that is fine. So I think we'll have to be guided by you on that, Darren, as to what you want to do. Okay, and can I draw members' attention to item 5, declaration of interest? Okay, key decision reports then, high needs provision capital allocations. It's good to see you back. Thank you. International jet setters.
Yes, I enjoyed it. Yes, the purpose of this report is to seek cabinet approval to accept a government grant for high needs provision capital allocation for 22-23 and 23-24 to approve work of a variety of schemes. Funding has been allocated from the DFE for certain capital projects. Wakefield has been allocated £3,908,502 for 22-23 and £3,762,214 for 23-24. This funding is for capital projects to increase places or improve facilities for children and young people with SEND. The projects that are developed going forward will be linked to the authority's SEND provision plan. And the recommendation is we need to formally accept the funding and delegate authority to the corporate director, children and people, and myself as portfolio holder to approve any individual projects within the high needs provision capital programme that is over £275,000. In Wakefield, in line with most other areas nationally, we are seeing increasing demands for specialist places, so this requires ongoing work and focus. It is important that the majority of Wakefield's children and young people's needs can be met locally to enable children and young people with SEND to remain part of their local community, which I feel is extremely important. We also want to continue to support mainstream settings to support children and young people with SEND. So a further recommendation is to ring-fence £400,000 per year for a small capital grant scheme for mainstream settings. This was done last year as a pilot with an overall allocation of £350,000. 11 bids were successful and the scheme was very popular and oversubscribed. We are already seeing the impact of this work for the children and young people at Hinders Primary, where they built a sensory garden which is absolutely wonderful and well visit and is marvellous for the children. And as well as appearing in the local press, this particular project has been identified as a practice nationally and therefore asking Cabinet to approve option 1.
Thank you, Margaret. Any questions for you, John?
Thanks, Denise. Yeah, I welcome this paper, Margaret, and particularly the 400k additional ring-fence that you've identified for schemes like the sensory garden. That's obviously a huge benefit and will continue to do so. I just wonder, at agenda page 10, regarding the comment regarding Ukrainian refugees and the additional cost of living pressures, do we know if there any intention for the government to review the level of funding they provide to meet that additional threshold?
We haven't been notified yet, but it's something that I will very much so actually something that I will follow up and try to get that. Because obviously they've got children who live in Ukraine, which will be special. Yeah. So I will follow that.
Has there been any indication that we may, or it might happen, or
Not so
no?
no.
Yeah, thanks, Margaret. I just wanted to say I've obviously been teaching for over 15 years now, and SEN children and their needs, it's definitely something I've seen increase in the short time I've been a teacher. A lot more children being identified as needing more money, more places in schools, etc. And it's something that parents are constantly telling us on the doorstep. Their children's needs sometimes aren't being met, or they're like more money, etc. So I think this is a great investment from the government. It's very welcome. I think probably more needs to be done from the government in other areas to meet the full needs of the children who need it. But I think this is a good start, and I'm sure the council will be using it very wisely. So welcome it.
Can we agree with you? Thank you. Michael, public art framework.
Yeah, really exciting report this. I mean, the public art framework isn't that exciting, you know, it's a lot of the text, but the actual, what is going to come out of it is really exciting. So this is a piece of work that is going to be looking at public art right across the district, and making sure that we have more of it, and that it serves its purpose. We've seen in the pandemic that a lot of jobs that are at risk of automation in the future, and creative jobs that are not in that category. So I think it's something that we really need to nurture. We've got such an amazing creative scene right across the district, so many creative people, and this is just one more thing to bring them together and to do other things. So everyone knows the benefits of public art. You know, it can really bring a place to life. It can share stories, celebrate our heritage. It's fantastic. I love seeing it. I know people are very quick to say, oh, more art, we should be spending our money on something else, what about the grass? But I think it's really important, and it's got a place. One of the really exciting projects we've currently got underway that's coming out of this framework is public art going into the city centre. So we got just under 1 million from the government, and we're currently looking at 5 pieces throughout the city. So that money can only be spent on public art, it can only be spent in the city. And so it's a fantastic opportunity to really bring those spaces to life, and I think people are absolutely going to love what's coming. Obviously we can't share it yet, it's not approved, but I'm really excited. So the whole thing, I'm asking people to approve the framework that sits behind all of this good stuff, and we really want to put this out to the whole district. Ideally, we want to have a piece of public art in every single area. And I'll just say one last thing is, places like Corbury, where we've got the Civic Society doing some fantastic pieces. We've had Featherstone with the Warhorse and the new pieces, and Pontefract with the murals. This is already happening. This just gives it that extra boost and helps us to get even more of it for those places that might not have groups that do it already. So, really hope everyone can support this, and with that I'll move.
Yeah, I had a meeting with the GCNS a few months ago, not to do with the council, to do with the Marine Museum, and the people that came were talking about this and saying the reason we got the money was because we started to build on culture and art across our district, and we were making Wakefield were really in front of other areas, and we'd been noticed the fact that we were doing this, and I felt so proud that they were saying that, and so I think it's absolutely great news. Anyone else want to comment? No.
Yeah, great start of the it's wonderful. Wakefield District is a wonderful place to live, and I think this is just going to enhance the whole experience, as well as making it a destination for people to come and see what's going on. So I certainly welcome it, especially the workers intended for this sector.
Michelle.
It's really lovely to see and to look at all the things that we can do with public art. It's a great opportunity for communities to get behind something and can often be something that people can be proud of and celebrate heritage. Just in terms of the street murals and artistic pavements, just to put on, a question of can we make sure that we're consulting with organisations such as the RMIB and Alzheimer's Society, just to make sure that they're inclusive for everybody so everybody can enjoy them.
Yeah, I think that's a really good point, Michelle. I think I've been thinking more about consulting with the public and making sure everyone in the community is involved in the design and getting the local artists. But I think that's an excellent thing to remember. Is this art suitable for everyone? Is it accessible? So absolutely we'll be in it. Thank you.
I always enjoy the debate when we can't fetch out with people, whether people love it or love it. It's the debate, and it's actually fetching people to that area. I mean, we can never forget those of us that we casted 15 years ago with the Great House, the amount of debate that fetched people hated, some people loved it. I just think that, you know, the area of a piece of art will create that, will fetch people to there. We need more reasons to get people into our own towns and centres. I think by doing this sort of thing, it helps, like Michael. So, people love it or hate it. People say it makes fresh debate and affect people into our district. So, I would really do love it all. Thank you.
Welcome to report from Michael. Thank you very much indeed. And also, really good to mention the fact that our children are cultural centres in this wonderful district of ours. You mentioned Featherstone, I believe they've got something they call the Laws. But in Holborn, we've also got at least 6 pieces of public art which have been developed by the civil society and others. And it's just amazing. And the negativity will always be there when you're spending public money on pieces like this. But the positivity that it brings to those areas, and more importantly, the economic benefits that it brings by introducing visitors to new areas within the district. So thank you for bringing it today, and I hope that it will have a positive impact across the whole district.
Yeah, we've talked about the Featherstones and the Hemsworth, etc., etc. Let's not forget about our rural areas as well. And I don't mean the likes of Havercroft. I mean, what about the Anglos Country Park? Can we have something there, something that will draw people into our rural areas? You know, can that be considered as well?
Absolutely. I think we immediately think about the city centre and town centres, but we've got so many villages, we've got so many small communities that don't have a centre to them. And I think within this report you can see it's not just about sculpture. It can be absolutely anything. It can be a tree, it can be a green space. It's bringing it to life. So we can think of anything. Let's think outside the box and let's get these in place. And yeah, I want the country's parks to be even more animated, make them even more beautiful. That's the alternative.
Yeah, just as a pointer, in Valley Gardens in Pontefract, the trees there, they've turned them into pieces of sculpture, and they're absolutely fabulous. Perhaps we could do something like that at Andrews, or they're wonderful.
Yeah,
Yes. Anyway, let's move on. We're getting carried away with culture, aren't we? Can we agree with the report? Thank you. Back down to earth.
Yeah, sadly, we're getting more and more homeless people. Because of the situation that we're in, more and more people are presenting as homeless to our homeless needs service. I think we'd over 100 people presented last week, and to house those people in hotel accommodation is getting really, really expensive. Our portfolio of properties is small. I think it's outlined on 3.1 of the report. It is small, so we are thinking outside the box as well. We've identified 3 of the council properties within our portfolio, and what we're looking to do is to refurbish them. Those properties, they are identified, the areas are identified in the report. We could actually house 3 families or 10 individuals in those properties, which would save us money on hotel accommodation. So the purpose of the report is to actually approve the £570,000 to actually refurbish those 3 properties, to bring them into the council's portfolio, and that's the request today, Chair.
Thanks, Keisha. I absolutely think this report, Lauren, I think it's a key part of being a compassionate council that we do our best for homeless people in the district, and particularly welcome that bringing empty properties back into use. We need to do more of that and make more of the assets that we have that aren't being fully utilised. Also welcome that 40 additional properties have been brought back into use last year to assist with that. From a pragmatic point of view as well, this will save the authority £82,000, so it's absolutely the right thing to do, and I congratulate your officers for bringing this forward. Thank you.
Yeah, it's a great report. People living in houses rather than being in hotels. It's absolutely wonderful. And if we could do more of it, we make people feel so much more nurtured and looked after. So I think it's a great report. Can we all agree? Dan?
Thank you, Lisa. So the purpose of this report is to seek approval in principle for the future use of the compulsory purchase order CPO, or the powers for site assembly, if necessary, and to delegate the authority to approve the making and the extent of the CPO as required to deliver the town's deals for customers Wakefield, in order to secure the expected benefits to residents and businesses. Currently, officers are fully engaged in working closely with businesses in the town's fund areas, discussing the sales of their land, their buildings, and, more importantly, identifying possible relocation opportunities. The government grants which we were successful in securing, just under 24 million for Castleton and just under 25 million for Wakefield City Centre. These grants are time limited, and the work must be completed by March 2026. There's no extension on this date under the current rules, and these are very tight timescales for this side of regeneration of hospital centres. Approval of this report gives the Council in principle the opportunity to use CPOs should it be unable to secure the properties following extensive negotiations. Let's be clear, we are not saying that we are going to use CPOs on any property as part of the town's plan project. The use of CPOs will only be used if necessary, as shown in the opening sentence of the report, stated in paragraph 3. It should also be stressed that the implementation of the CPO will be the last resort after all other options have been exhausted, and it will only be done in line with the CPO guidance issued by the Department for Levelling Up Housing and Communities. In order for a CPO to be made, we as a council must have made an offer to the building owners in line with current market values, plus reasonable related costs. Then, and only then, could we start the CPO process, which will be as described as per the compulsory purchase orders. The use of the CPO is not easy, and it is one that we have no desire to use. However, this report gives the Council the ability to implement if and only if it is necessary. Paragraph 3.10 states clearly a delegation of the authority to officers to continue to negotiate, and only then, if necessary, introduce a CPO. When we have completed these two major Towns Funds projects in Castleton and Wakefield, the benefits will be noticeable and positive for residents and businesses alike. This level of funding is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to make a real, positive difference in Wakefield and Castleton town and city centres. So with that, I move this report and ask for approval of option 1 as detailed in paragraph 4.1 on agenda page 47.
Thank you for that, Joan. Any comment, any questions? No hospitals there. Thank you very much for that, Joan. Can we agree with the report? Item 10, which is one.
Thank you. So the purpose of this report is to provide an update on the previous Cabinet report, which was the accommodation strategy for Wakefield City Centre Wakefield 1, which went back to February 2020. Paragraph 3 of this report gives details of why we're here today. In brief, the initial Cabinet request was for a capital investment in February 2020 to redesign the upper floor of the customer access point area to improve utilisation of space. The pandemic has changed how we work and how services are delivered, and this means that we need to review the accommodation allocated to the users. This is the reason for the review. In the meantime, the Council has been approached by the combined authority space, primarily for use by the police and crime teams and the bump and violent reduction units, to share some accommodation in a flexible manner to accommodate other parts of the combined authority also, and an outpost of the mayor office. Through the review and consultations, we have identified that Wakefield 1 will be able to accommodate their requirements, alongside other council services, meeting the needs of both parties. To enable this work to be carried out, the original budget, which was agreed with by Cabinet in February 2020, needs to be increased. And this will allow the following changes. A redesign of the customer services area, allowing better customer experience and work. A broader utilisation of the upper space in the floor, and to provide secure space for the West Yorkshire Combined Authority to establish office space, and for the police team to be accommodated within Wakefield 1, and securing their presence in the Wakefield district. It is worth bearing in mind that West Yorkshire Combined Authority will pay the market rent and service charges to recover the cost of being in Wakefield. And this will also allow us to recover the cost of the capital work that they will require to relocate into Wakefield. So with that, I move this report as detailed in option 2.
Thank you, Gary. Any questions from?
Yeah, I was happy to support this when it originally came to Cabinet, and I think we know that the cost of absolutely everything is going up, which means as a council that ultimately we can do less, unless the government finally gives some of that money back that we took away from us for 12 years, which we know they're never going to do. But this is something that has to be done. It saves money in the long run, makes that building more efficient. How can we not do it? We've got to put that extra money in, and we've got to go ahead with the plans we originally decided were for the best, so fully support that.
Thank you very much.
Okay, can we move it forward? Item 11, property acquisition.
Thank you. This report brings forward proposals to purchase land to facilitate delivery of an extension to the Gypsy and Travel site in Common in order to meet the assessed needs and to facilitate the emerging local plan with site allocation proposals. The decision to utilise the Heath Common area for such a site was made in January 2021, and the report considered at that time set out details of the rationale for this. The decision was expressly subject to negotiations for the release of that covenant with the relevant parties, which would be undertaken by the Council's corporate landlord team as part of the land negotiations. The proposal in the paper meets that objective and qualifications as it releases the covenant to allow development. I am aware that there has been representations made by ward councillors and Heath residents about this report today. Officers have considered these representations, and the advice is that there is suitable legal and evidential basis to proceed with this decision today on the basis of the report as written. A full and detailed response will be made, particularly to residents at Heath, but in summary, the Council does have more recent evidence that will be able to deal better with illegal encampments if we develop a transit site as proposed. The evidence from 2003 is out of date, and in any case, the legal position has changed since that time, which makes it more difficult to deal with such issues without a transit site. The site selection approach and methodology has been shared with the local plan inspector and uploaded to the examination library for public viewing. This shows extensive consultation, including with the travelling community. There is a wealth of evidence to show that travellers' families who are not able to access proper, permanent and transit sites suffer from poor health and low life expectancy. This proposal does not seek to avoid proper scrutiny of the loss of common land or green belt land. This will continue to be considered in public in accordance with the legal framework of the National Planning Policy through the local plan process and related planning applications. And with that, I move the report.
Thank you, Gary. Any questions?
Just generally on this one, as a council, you have statutory duty to look after all our residents, as we've just heard during the right to 8, reducing the number of homeless people. We have to look after all our residents whatsoever. So, aiming to make life better for the travelling communities, but people as well. It's statutory duty we've got to do. Thank you very much for the report.
Okay, I'm agree with the report. Great. Thank you very much. Michelle, management print contract.
This contract continues the July management arrangements was the approach that there are significant savings in council budgets since 2011, renewed from the recommended adoption. Annual revenue spend opportunity has reduced from 975,000 per annum pre-centralisation to 125,000 in 21-22. This is whilst self-employed following the increase in the scanning convenience from many of which 135 devices across 102 locations. The preferred option at a capital cost of £600,000 over 3 years and revenue cost re-baseline for 5 years also provides, in the short term, seamless continuation of management services to 102 sites and minimal disruption to services, extending the useful life of vitally used million devices by up to 2 years. In the medium term, allows a 2-year window in time for organisational asset management strategies to be aligned and to minimise the device requirements. And in the long term, value from the over 5-year contract. We confirm efficiencies on licensing, copy costs and transferable parts, for example, over 9 and the use of the machine. The preferred option is fully compliant with procurement rules and is the direct award of the reflective framework agreement, which details the comprehensive range of management services and service level agreements which fully meet our requirements. Other options were considered, however, were more costly and did not take account of how widely devices have been used during the pandemic, would be too inflexible as organisational strategies evolve, or would see a potential reverse significant savings that centralised arrangements approach the council. So that will be recommended.
Okay. Everyone happy with that? Thank you, Michelle. Item 13. Michelle.
So Treasury Management Active Report for the financial year ending 31st March 2022 was on page 107 and page 122. This report provides positive assurance that the activity throughout the year fully complied with the strategy and policies approved by full council in February 2021. The key issues to summarise the paragraph 1.2 with supporting information in the report, including specific assurances at Appendix 1 and the credential indication at Appendix 2. Policy to use internal cash balances to further deal with external borrowing saving council 4 million in the interest payments for the year, which is 1 million more than was anticipated in the budget. The recommendations on page 108 in Cabinet are asked to note the information and positive assurance provided in this report in respect to Treasury management activities in accordance with the Council's new strategy for the 21-22 financial year.
Thank you, Michelle. Any comment? Okay. Thanks so much. Can we approve that? Thank you. Thank you, Nathan. Very much. Keep warm. I'm going to keep cool.